Hello and good morning. I hope you guys are doing well. My name is Heather Rodriguez, and I'm here to talk with you today about 3 ways that you can eat better for natural fertility. Diet plays a big part in natural fertility, so I figured why not cover some things that have worked really well for me as I'm eating good and eating better and what makes it easier for me. So how's it going? Hello, everybody. So how is everybody doing? Go ahead and leave in the comments how you're doing, what you're up to, and also any topics that you would like me to cover in upcoming classes. I will make sure to take a look at all of these at the end of this class. I'm going to make this class pretty quick, pretty simple for you guys. Hey, Kelly, nice to see you. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So first I want to start with some self-care. I always like to start with self-care. So my self-care is I use essential oils, put some on my palm, help wake up, get everything going. All right, so let's jump into today's class. 3 ways to eat better for natural fertility. So for those of you who have never seen a video with me or seen my work, my name is Heather Rodriguez. I'm a natural fertility specialist. What that means is I'm an herbalist and nutritionist that loves helping women with their reproductive health. So I cover topics such as diet, herbs, supplementation, mind-body therapies, all of that, how to prepare for IVF, male fertility, all those different topics we cover. So today we're covering the 3 ways to eat better for natural fertility. So here's my first tip. Figure out what your go-tos are. So when you're starting to change your diet and you're starting to eat healthier, it's really good for you to have some go-tos. So what I mean by that is they're kind of like the things you eat every single day or every single week that are kind of no-brainers for you that you can go to. So a couple of examples. I have a go-to where I make a chicken kale wrap that has a little bit of ranch dressing and green olives and pepperoncinis. And that's my go-to wrap. It's super, super simple, but I always have stuff in the fridge to make that wrap. And I eat that a couple times a week because it takes not even 5 minutes to make and it tastes really good. So that's one of my go-tos. Another go-to that I have is eating a salad a day with some type of protein on top. So I'll always have the ingredients in my fridge for that. And then I'll always batch cook my proteins, whether it's fish, chicken, whatever it's going to be. If you're going to use beans, just making sure you always have that. So you have these go-tos, like make it simplified and make sure to always have the ingredients on hand. So it's really simple to do these things. Another awesome go-to is fertility smoothies. Smoothies are so simple. If you have a blender, you can throw everything in there. And you can also add fertility superfoods. You can add greens powders. You can add leafy greens, whatever, to that smoothie. And that is a meal depending on what you're putting into your smoothie. Really easy go-to. So that was the first way, is to figure out your go-tos and have all the ingredients on hand for that. The next is to meal prep. I love meal prepping, but I don't do it in the way that I think most people do it because I'm not super strict. I do like having variety, but what I do is whenever I do make something, I make double. So I have some for tomorrow. I have no problem with eating the same thing 2 days in a row. Makes my life way easier. So for instance, if I make a salad, I will make 2 of them and put one in a container in the fridge for tomorrow. Or if I make a smoothie, I will double it and I'll have one again for tomorrow. So just another way to make it easy for you to eat healthier. I feel like one of the times that I tend to eat less healthy is when I'm super hungry and I'm not prepared. I don't have anything. So I'm just like, let's go get some candy. Let's go get something crunchy, whatever your thing is. Mine tends to be crunchy things because I didn't have anything on hand and I wasn't prepared. So if I cook either in batches or I double things, I have stuff in the fridge I can just go and grab because I'm sure like you guys, super busy. So it's so refreshing to go to the fridge and be like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna eat this real quick. And then the other is to cook in batches. I just mentioned that. But for instance, so if I'm cooking fish or chicken or something like that, I will cook a couple pounds of it at one time because it stays good in the fridge for a while. Or if I have beans, I will make that bean dish or whatever, prepare that and have it ready in a big batch for a couple meals ahead of time. I don't necessarily meal prep like some people might where they're making the whole meal together. I just kind of duplicate what I'm doing and then have that ready in the fridge. The other thing to think about and making it easier to eat healthy is to focus on adding to your current diet, not focusing so much on what you can't eat and trying to restrict yourself or anything like that. It's kind of adding these things to your current diet because they're just going to naturally squeeze out the other things. So if you start your day like super motivated and you're like, oh, I'm going to do a smoothie and I'm going to do the salad for lunch, do those things and you'll find your feeling satiated and you're full, so you're kind of pushing some of these other things that you may be doing or eating off till later, and you're just doing it less and less and less. It doesn't need to be something that's super strict and overnight and cold turkey, unless that's your personality. But sustainability and longevity is more important than it being the strict, hardcore thing that you do from day one, because there's gonna be times when you don't, and just get back to it. Not a big deal. But sustainability and consistency is way more important. That longevity is way more important than being absolutely perfect. And then my last tip, I have like a quick additional one, is when you're picking things out, try to get as much color and whole foods as you can. That will really simplify kind of like what to eat. Is just eating a wide variety of whole foods that have lots of different colors, lots of different types. So for instance, if you're eating vegetables, try to go for a whole rainbow feel, or with your fruit, try to mix it up and have a rainbow feel. One day you might have blueberries, the next day you're going to do cherries, and so on. And same with beans. There's so many different types of beans, and they all are so different. So I mentioned beans a lot because they have a lot of nutrients in them that are really great for fertility. And I feel like, at least in the United States, like people don't eat many beans. My family, part of my family is Latino, part of my family is from Mexico, and we eat a ton of beans. So I personally love beans, and they're so healthy for you because of the fiber, because of the folate that's in them. And they do have some protein and all of that stuff, but it's more of the nutrients that are found in them. So I hope you found today's little quick class helpful. If you want a place to kind of get started, I always like to start with fertility smoothies. You can go to fertilitysmoothies.com, and that's a whole article on smoothies and why they're awesome. And then you can also sign up for my free 10-day fertility smoothies challenge on that page. It's a good way to jumpstart because smoothies taste really good. They're very easy to find the ingredients regardless of where you're located in the world. And they're very quick and you can take them to go. So it's awesome fast food. So I hope you found today's class helpful. I'd also love to know what topics you would like covered in future classes, future lives. I'm open to making sure that what you need is being covered and is helpful. All right, thanks. Okay, let's see what you guys got going on here in the comments. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments now. I'm going to stay on here and answer questions. Also note, if something is super complex, like a super complex fertility issue, I won't be able to answer it here, but I'll get you in touch, get in touch with you so that I can help you out. So Kelly says, do I have any suggestions for reducing and getting rid of uterine fibroids? Yes, I have a great guide on naturalfertilityinfo.com about uterine fibroids and the different steps to take. I think that would be also a really good topic for a future class. But one place to get started, I'm just going to write these down. Uterine fibroids. One place to get started is to, and this is going to be helpful for most people, but uterine fibroids is a situation in the body where something is growing. So anytime something is growing, that lends itself to being an estrogen dominant type of situation. So one of the things that you could focus on just to get going with something today is to remove and protect the body from xenohormones and xenoestrogens. So really looking at what type of house care products you're using, skincare products, makeup products. I have a whole guide I'm working on right now as we speak. It's almost done. That's going to help you with this on the home care area, because I've been doing a lot of research on household cleaners and things, fragrances and things within our home, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know. But helping to protect the body from that, and then helping the body to kind of process that. The body naturally does that, but again, by eating fiber, helping to support the liver, using liver herbs, things like that. Also, there's a product called DIM that you could look into that helps the body to metabolize excess estrogens. Those are all places to start, but just kind of really looking at your life and how to help support your body so there's less of those xenohormones coming in, and helping support the body to process what is coming in. So those are some areas. Yeah, I think that's that would possibly be a good place to start. We have a lot more resources on that topic as well for you. Is one meal a day or any type of intermittent, Angela's asking, is one meal a day great for fertility or any type of intermittent fasting? So I did a whole video on intermittent fasting, on fertility and what my thoughts were on it. So basically the summary of my personal opinion on it is it's not necessary whatsoever. And it being positive or negative, I think it just kind of depends on what's going on for you and if you're eating enough and what you're eating when you are eating. So I don't think that necessarily having to eat 3 meals a day, 6 meals a day, 1 meal a day, I don't think that is as important as what it is that you're eating in that meal. Intermittent fasting, it can can be beneficial for a lot of people, especially if they need to lose weight, but it's not something that is specific to helping improve fertility in any way. I don't think it's going to negatively impact it as long as what you are eating is beneficial. So that's, I think, more what's important rather than what your eating patterns are looking like. If you're someone who intermittent fasts and then you're barely eating any calories, like you're eating 800 calories a day, you know, that's more importantly is what you're eating. Arson is asking, what oil do I use? I'm going to have a whole, thing on kind of like the oils that I use and how I use them. Kind of getting that ready for you guys. Hey, Mary, how's it going? Okay, someone's asking, when they become pregnant with multiples, is it okay to stay vegan? So that's something that is obviously best going to be talked about with your doctor or your midwife, because they're monitoring you, they're seeing what's going on, they know a lot more about what your diet is. And but in general, if you're on it as a vegan and you're making sure and you're very aware of the amount of protein that you're getting, of the amount of different nutrients that you're getting, you could totally have a healthy multiple pregnancy on a vegan diet. It's the same for any diet. If you're having a multiple pregnancy, you need to be on top of it, regardless if you're vegetarian, if you're meat eater, if you're paleo, if you're vegan. You just have to be on top of it. Make sure you're eating enough and you're eating enough nutrients and a wide variety of those nutrients for those babies, making sure you're getting essential fatty acids, you're getting enough protein. You need tons of protein when you're pregnant. Making sure you're eating enough fiber, because that's a whole issue that can happen with constipation when you're pregnant. So it's not so much, again, like the specifics of the diet, as long as you're making sure and you're on top of getting everything that you need. I think being on a diet that has all the food categories in, all the food groups, is going to be way easier to meet those requirements. The reason being that, so for instance, like chicken or protein or something is going to be way more concentrated in nutrients and way easier to get the calories and those nutrients than eating, you know, a protein substitute or eating enough beans or, you know, whatever it is. But you can totally do it. You just got to be on top of it. Angela, do a Q&A soon. Yes, that's a great idea. I kind of do them each end of each of these, but great idea. So Heidi, Heidi had 2 inseminations and 2 in vitros. The doctor said that that the eggs are not maturing and you're not able to have babies. Could you help me? I'm 41 years old and never got pregnant. So Heidi, this is going to be a very complex question to answer without any information about you. If you would like to, you can email us at help@naturalfertilityshop.com and we can kind of get started with some questions and get you to some resources that might be helpful for you. We need to know, you know, a lot more about the situation to get you to the right resources. Angela says she has high insulin, so fasting is pretty necessary for you with PCOS. I have seen that work for a lot of women. I also have seen women not doing that and succeeding on a PCOS diet. It's more, again, what they're eating and helping to balance and control the insulin levels and the insulin resistance through diet, regardless of fasting or not fasting. Yeah, with the right foods, of course. You just said that. So Esther is saying that it was tough for her. It's tough for her to keep her iron levels up, even with very good supplementation. So Esther, this is interesting that you bring this up, because this is something that I personally went through in my life. So what I was finding is, so there's times when I've been vegetarian, there's times when I've been vegan, and there's times when I've not. And what was happening was, even though I've been super on top of making sure I was eating foods that were really rich in iron, making sure I was eating them with vitamin C, all these different things, I had some testing done because my iron was really low. And what I found was that I don't absorb non-heme iron. I don't know why, for whatever reason, my body does not absorb non-heme iron. So at that point, this was years ago, but at that point I started adding in animal, you know, like meats and things like that. And my body absorbs the heme iron, the iron coming from animal foods much better. So that's something to consider. Also, supplementation did work for me. It depends on maybe trying a different supplement. I like the Mega Food Iron. It's whole food based. It's got all the different nutrients to help the absorption of iron, because that makes a big difference. But that was just something that I went through. I don't know if that's helpful for you. You know, your case might be totally different, but that happens for a lot of women, especially if they have very heavy periods. But it's a thing for sure for women. All right, Mary. So I'm going to answer one last question before I get going. Why do some women's cycle come every other month? That's a big question. There's a lot of different reasons that someone might not have a regular period. Stress can have a big effect. Nutritional deficiencies can have a big effect, and other hormonal issues that are happening. This can be kind of a trickle down effect of that. So for instance, someone who's experiencing PCOS may not have a regular cycle and a regular period, that period being part of that cycle. Someone who, again, might be deficient in iron could have periods that are that don't come. Or if someone is underweight, they could not be having a period. So there's so many different reasons that someone's not having a period. We get asked a lot, what can I do to get my period back? And this is a video that I'm going to do very soon, because we get this question a lot. Get period back. Just taking notes. Get period back. But looking and trying to figure out kind of the background, the cause of it, because the approach to helping to support the body is going to be different based on all the different causes of it. So if someone's nutritionally deficient, if they start using herbs that help with circulation and increasing circulation of the reproductive system, it's not going to do anything. They don't have the ingredients for creating healthy uterine lining and so on. So it's a big, it's kind of a big thing. It's kind of a big topic, but I'll be covering that very soon. We also do have a guide on the website on it. But that's a great suggestion. I'm going to assume that was actually just a suggestion for a class. Another, Michaela is saying, what can you eat to have a period naturally? Awesome. I'll cover that in that class as well. Gladys asks, do I do lives on Instagram? I haven't been doing lives on Instagram. I do stories. I'm starting to do reels. I haven't tried it yet. Are you on Instagram? Is that something that you'd be interested in? I'm trying to wrap my head around what kind of works for everyone and what kind of works with my time. So here I'm able to put this live on YouTube, live on Facebook, multiple places because of the direction of the video, whereas Facebook Live or Instagram Lives, I'm going to have to do from my phone and do it at a different angle. It might be something worth testing though. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have an awesome day, and I'll see you again real soon.